Hey everyone, welcome back to yet another episode of GenAI Vlog. So this couple of videos that we're posting right now are laser focused on Gradio application. It's an open source Python package that allows you to essentially quickly build a demo web application, things like that, for your AI models, APIs, or just whatever arbitrary Python function that you want. So in this episode, we're going to be diving into yet another example. We're going to be talking about image classification and text generation. So hopefully, this episodes can get you quickly started on how to handle image and how to handle text. So first things first, we're gonna pip install Gradio and transformers. And the first example we're gonna test out on image classification. So image classification means that we send in an image and the model will tell us what kind of object that it is, right? And it only knows what the training data knows. If training data only knows 100 objects, then it will guess with a certain probability of the options among those 100 objects, right? It doesn't know the 101st one, the 102nd one, that's not even in the training data. So obviously there's limitations, but that's okay, right? We want to be able to see what's going on. So first things first, we load up the model. The model here is AlexNet. It's a default model, so we're not fine-tuning anything, right? We're just using the weights as it is. And then there's a link here that tells us what the raw labels are. So you click on this, it'll take you to this link and it will print out all the labels, right? These are just common objects out there in the world, right? Birds, right? Fish, something like that. And we can process the labels, make it look prettier, and then we run the inference. Inference, we simply use transformer, right? So this is a torch-based model. This is a torch-based inference framework, right? So image from array, right? We're gonna process the data in RGB, and then we're gonna unsqueeze it, so kill that one dimension, and then we're gonna process it in a tensor. So this gives us the image data in a tensor object. What we're going to do is send the image into AlexNet, and then whatever that output is, it's going to be that last layer of right, the AlexNet model. So we're going to extract that. We're going to send that to softmax function, and it will give us the prediction. And the prediction here will give us basically the probabilities, and then the labels, things like that. Now, of course, as you just saw, this is a giant list, right? This is a giant list. We're not gonna print out the probabilities of all these items, right? Because when you go down the road, it's gonna be 0.00001%, right? So we're not gonna do that, but we're only gonna print out the top 5 classes. So you get the idea, right? So the interface is going to be very simple, right? It's a function. It's a function. This function is called inference. And that's precisely what we just defined here. And the function means there's the input and output, right? The input is Gradio image, right? So this is not the image from whatever it is that's going on. So this is assuming that there is a input box or input bracket or input framework, right? Some sort of drag and drop area, drag and drop region on the Gradio user interface. And that's simply called Gradio image, right? And then the output is going to be Gradio label. So it's going to be presented as a label format with top 5 classes. And that is it, right? That is it. That is the interface. And then all we're going to do is we're going to say launch it. So we're going to run this code. It will download the model. It will build the user interface, and then it will give us a running URL. So you click on this URL, it will take you here as the Gradio application. Or you can interact in here if you want to. But in this case, I'm going to interact on a web browser. So I'm going to select a picture. I just took a screenshot of a bird, right, of a bird, looks like that. And then if I hit submit, it will run an inference once using this picture and will show me the output. And then hopefully these top items are all birds, right? Handkerchief is not birds, obviously. We're not going to look at that. The bonnet quail, I think these two probably will look like this bird. So that's the inference, right? And then that essentially shows you what goes inside of the AlexNet model and what comes out of it. So that is image classification. Now let me show you the text generation. So text generation is shown here. In this case, we're dealing with languages. So we need some sort of model, right? We're going to be using GPT-2 model. And this is a large language model. So we're going to have a tokenizer and we're going to have a model. Tokenizer process the word into tokens. And then these are tokens that can be consumed by a model. And then we send the token into the model and we run the inference that way. So here, the inference function is defined here on line 9. It's simply called generate text. And again, Gradio inference, right? And again, Gradio interface takes a function, an input, and an output as input argument. And that's essentially what the interface is. So let's go back up. Let's remind ourselves function, input, and output. And that's really it, right? So the function is the generate text that's defined up here. The input is some sort of text box, right? So text box here, and then the output is also text box. Why? Because we're going to decode it, and then this is going to become a sentence. So let's run this, and then this is the kind of interface that you're going to get. So you can press on this link if you want to, and you can type in, hello, I need help with a math problem, something like that. You hit enter, it will run inference once, right? It will run the inference once and only once, right? One question goes in, one question come out. And this output is generated, and it's going to take a little bit of time because right now, guess what? I'm running on this Colab itself, right? And it's limited to the infrastructure of this Colab, right? So if you go to your runtime, you go to your runtime type, and if you're running on CPU, obviously that's very slow. So whatever that large language model here that you're loading, right? Small language model, large language model, whatever that model is, however many parameters are, it's limited to the hardware of this notebook, right? But that's okay. You wait a little bit, you're gonna get something back, right? So this is probably just start to hallucinate because there's no real prompt here, right? It's just a very generic prompt. But anyhow, this worked. It did run through GPT-2 model, and it did give us something back. So there you go. Hopefully this episode sheds some light and get you a quick start on how to handle image and how to handle text. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and like.